welcome to The Real Wine Show. We're a game show meets a talk show, all wrapped up in a podcast that's totally obsessed with wine culture. I'm Chad.
And I'm Christy.
And we're here to do our part to engage the wine community both locally and globally, and to have a ton of fun along the way. Our first segment is Spot the Corker, where we'll be reading some wild and possibly made-up news stories, and it's up to our panelists to figure out if they're true or totally corked.
Next up is our second segment, the emotive blind tasting. Forget all those fancy, stuffy wine terms like tannins and vintages. We're going to throw them out the window. Instead, we're diving into how wine really makes you feel. Does it spark a memory or perhaps remind you of a song that takes you back? Whatever it is, we want to hear all about it. You won't want to miss the fun, so let's go ahead and dive in.
Let's go. All right, let's launch into it, shall we? Yeah, so we have a real special show here today. We're delighted to have in chefs. Let's say chefs. I know, it's a little lowercase chefs. Let's say this.
These two are the actual chefs.
Yeah, actually.
I'm the cook.
Yeah, I'm trying to be inclusive. Cook, chef, yeah. I guess the important part of the show is that we're talking with foodies, right? And what people want to hear from you folks is your unique taste or your unique take on taste, right? I think that's what the big thing is about. And that's what I'm excited about. So whether it's the wine, the food, or how the wine and food goes together, that's what we're trying to get at today with the show. But we're still going to hit you with some challenging questions, and we're going to score you too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there's going to be winners and losers is how it's going to work.
What does the winner get?
Well, okay, it's not really that serious. It's just nobody gets nothing.
Fair
But we have a good time. We're going to drink some wine. We got a little stuff to nosh on. We're just going to have some fun. That's the plan.
This Vesuvio's insane.
Oh, I can't wait to get to it.
I'm sorry, I'm just dipping in.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're getting ahead of the show.
I think you're a chef.
Yeah. So let me introduce folks. I'll start with my on my left here, which I guess is, for radio or podcast listeners is irrelevant. But we'll start with Christine Lau. She is in from New York mostly, although we just learned she's in directly from the Caribbean, and she looks great. You look great. Christine has made a career out of uniting cultures through food. Is that a fair thing to say?
That's the perfect way to say it.
Perfect way to say it. Yeah. And so you started that really. I guess I think your fame maybe is with Kimika in New York. Is that fair again?
That's correct. That's
okay.
Generally, where the world started to know who I am or was.
Yeah. Well, why don't you take a few minutes to tell us who you are? Yeah, and why your sense of taste is so particular and interesting.
Well, great. So my name's Christine. I'm Chinese American. My family's from Hong Kong, but I was born and raised in California, in Oakland, and I moved to New York.
You sound like a West Coast girl.
But I moved to New York when I was 19. Yeah. You guys can do the math. I've been there for over 20 years. So,
you still have fewer grays than I do, so respect.
Thank you. I'll take the compliment. I started cooking Italian food when I was young, just because it was because I like noodles. Mm-hmm. And so pasta was like the right place to go. I cooked Italian and learned how to cook really seasonally in New York City. And then did some Basque food and some modern Spanish food. And then finally was able to tap into cooking with some Asian flavors as a sous chef at a seafood restaurant. And I didn't realize how much I really enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? And then I did a stint of cooking.
What was it about? Well, we can get into it, but I do want to interrupt quickly to ask, what was it about the seafood that you found particularly interesting? Was it the flavors or just the complexity of working with it? I find working with seafood difficult, but I'm terrible in the kitchen.
It was that I didn't have to stick to a country.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
The liberation
it was the ingredient that drove the food, right? And so how did you complement the base ingredient? It wasn't
with whichever you can grab from here and there. Awesome.
Correct. It wasn't it needs to stay in the echelon of Mexican food or Korean food. It was what do we want to do with this really beautiful piece of swordfish? What do we really want to do with this salmon?
Yeah.
And super. And you could pull from anywhere. So I think that's a base of where it started from, which is really cool. And I had a Japanese American chef, and then I ended up doing about a 5-year stint cooking Japanese food. So ramen, izakaya, yakitori, and things like that. And so I've just kind of stayed really enjoying all the Asian flavors. It's really the flavors that are honestly in my blood. You know, like
Yeah.
when you're the question is always when you're sick, like what do you crave? Do you know what I mean? And so it's always like broth or like congee.
Yeah.
You know, it's never a cheeseburger. It's never a grilled cheese. It's never a slice of pizza. I like all those things. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not. You know, when you are out of your zone, your best place. Like, what do you crave, right?
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Yep.
So like when I was we opened Kimika in the middle of COVID. It's great.
Oh God, that must have sucked.
But so the idea behind that was that we were melding Italian and Japanese flavors. If you ate at the restaurant, I kind of cheated a bit, and it was really Italian and Asian. There's a little Korean on there. There's a lot of Chinese flavors, Cantonese flavors. You know, I use that Japanese occupation of China. There's a lot of crossover in techniques. Wow. Yeah.
Okay. So it's getting into a little bit of politics.
Yeah,
with
a little
it too.
bit. But you know.
Well, you cannot separate people with the food.
Correct.
In fact, yeah.
And so that's kind of when I started to realize, like, well, how do you put things together? And everyone's like, they call it fusion and fusion and fusion. Being someone that grew up in California.
It's stale, isn't it?
Yeah.
I see you shaking your head.
Correct.
Ji Hye,
The fact of the matter
Fusion.
is all food is fusion, but that's neither here nor there.
Correct.
You're
Exactly.
absolutely
Thank you,
correct.
Carlos. Yeah. All right.
100%, right? It is an expression of like my experiences, but in a professional setting, we have to put it into a framework for guests to understand it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we would all love to get to the place where we didn't have to do that, but unfortunately, we're not quite there yet. You know,
Okay.
That's the goals. But so it's like finding your landing pad. I call it connecting dots, connecting cultures
Sure.
through food. So it's
Sure.
like whether it's a technique, like an actual physical technique that you're doing, even if it's like a knife cut, a flavor profile, you know, or then
Yes.
an ingredient, right?
Yeah,
So I started that at Kimika, and I've kind of just keep doing it. So like we're doing this dinner tomorrow.
I was going to say, what brought you up to Ann Arbor? So what are you up to these days? Like,
I've been freelancing and doing a lot of consulting and like helping open restaurants and write menus. And then I'll do some events like festivals and stuff, and then pop-ups. So like what brought me here is I met Ji Hye, I think 4 years ago.
Yeah, at a food festival.
And I've actually had eaten at her restaurant a few times. So I've done a little bit of work in Ann Arbor years ago.
right.
And so we've
We
been
talked
trying to
about that.
get back out here. And so this was the year, you know. And so
Yeah.
here I am. And then we're cooking tomorrow. And the
Super cool.
menu is a little bit, and the tie through for all of the menu tomorrow is it's Chinese. But there's a little bit of, it's kind of like, what do you do? I want to cook for the food of the land. So the land is Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah.
So I have like a really like tie to Zingerman's. When I was a young cook, a friend of mine who's a big foodie would send me packages to kind of teach me all about food.
Oh, cool.
So I knew about Zingerman's
Yeah,
before, and a lot before I even met Ji Hye. So,
Excellent.
you know, so there's a little bit of like Jewish food on the tie-in on the menu. There's a little bit of the Persian community here on
Yeah,
the
for
menu.
sure.
And then there's a little bit of Korean. So again,
Excellent.
if you come to the dinner, if you see the food, there's tie-throughs on there, whether again from flavor profile, ingredient, or some sort of technique.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there tomorrow, so it's going to be hot. So when we get the other half of the dinner story, then and have you, Ji Hye, tell us a little bit about you. Of course, listeners in the Metro Detroit area here, Ann Arbor, will know you, of course, for Miss Kim restaurant over in Carytown, which is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, but why don't you tell us a little bit else about like kind of your food
Yeah.
origin story, if you will.
Yeah, I have a restaurant in Carytown part of Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's called Miss Kim. And, I struggled to describe the food quite a bit because I didn't want to use the words fusion or authentic. And those are two kind of cheating words that's easy to slap on like Asian
And
or
much abused.
Yeah,
I mean,
much
fusion is just
abused.
beat the
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Just-
But you slap that on Asian food, and then it's like people kind of understand in those two terms. It's
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
dichotomy of fusion versus authenticity. So I like to tell people we have two huge inspirations for the restaurant. That's my Korean ancestors and Michigan farmers. Yeah, because you may not think that beets or Jerusalem artichoke or cauliflower is not very Korean because those vegetables are not native to Korea, but tenets of Korean food, as well as so many other very traditional food, will tell you to cook stuff, use ingredients in season of the place. And
Korea has 24 seasons, and that tells you that it's not just
What does that mean? It has 24.
24 seasons. So instead of 4 seasons of
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
yeah,
Break it down.
spring, summer, fall, and winter.
Okay.
It's divided by 24 seasons, and then like there is a spring season where the frogs wake up, and there's the first frost and all this stuff, and it's
just dialed in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very dialed in, but like loosely. Anybody went out and looked for ramps or asparagus or English peas in season, you understand that their season is like 2 weeks or maybe 4 weeks, depending on the year.
Right.
And those are micro seasons, right? So it's not that I follow the very traditional micro season super closely, but it does tell me like we have to pay attention to seasonality if we want to do any kind of Korean food with some kind of integrity. And I don't think that's like limited to Korean food, but it just happens to be Korean
Your
food.
lens.
This happens to be my food.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then if you're gonna do that, like I don't think any Korean grandmother who ends up in Michigan is gonna import stuff and pay the extra charge to bring stuff from Korea if they can just go to a local farmer's market and get things in season. So I think about that a lot, and then I try to put that into the menu and draw from my personal experience, but also from the research and studies I've done, because I've mostly relied on work experience and research rather than culinary degree. And that's sort of what's guided Miss Kim in terms of food. And I think also I don't want the food to be fussy. Like I don't want
precious.
Yeah, I don't want it to be precious. I don't want it to be 4 hours long. I don't want to interrupt their dinner to talk about my vision or like chef's childhood or Nona. I don't want to do any of those things. I just want people to come and like have a good time. Yeah. So those are the things that sort of drive Miss Kim.
Cheers
and then
to
I
that.
think I'll be a Miss.
Little toast. Yeah.
Yeah,
'cause
little toast.
You've certainly accomplished that, I would say.
Thank you.
The reputation that you've established in Ann Arbor is great.
Thank
People
you.
love it. So
And
my daughter, I told you earlier, my daughter is a huge fan.
She's welcome anytime.
She's just nonstop. She's like, Miss Kim. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's authentically Ann Arbor.
And it's authentically drawing from my experience. Yeah. And so can I curse on this thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, who the fuck's gonna live up to somebody's grandmother's experience? Seriously.
Right.
And it's so varied. So I like to tell them like what's authentic to you is valid and authentic to you, but it may not be my experience necessarily. So I do draw from personal experience.
And that kind of hits on what you were saying earlier, Carlos, about everything. All food is fusion. And it kind of steps away from the fusion concept. But, every generation, of course, does their own kind of especially in this context, in the American context. I think it's probably true everywhere. But, all those little changes, right, they go through from generation to generation. They kind of manifest that new experience, my experience in foods. And so it's always a little bit of change.
Especially with the wild connectivity that we have today in today's world. Us being in Korea, Japan, Africa today is not out of the question. We can hop on a plane, go there tomorrow because we've connected with somebody via chat 2 days earlier. And because we want to go check something out, we can do it now. And it just makes our connection to everything that the world has been so disjointed and siloed by so much easier to break down. So that's why I believe that, like, at least in our parents' generations or the generations before them, the fact that fusion existed was more of a nuance to them. It was something a little bit different. But what we're seeing now today is being almost taking everything that we believe to be recipes in the past and turning it on its head because we have the ability to.
So this is a good place to introduce you, Carlos Parisi. You are the founder of, is it Aunt Nee?
Aunt Nee's.
Aunt Nee's, the tortilla company, right? Tortilla chips.
Chips, salsa, guacamole.
Oh, the guac.
And smiles.
So
The
good.
guac and smile. The guac is killer. The chips are great. Guac, killer. Aunt Nee's, tortillas. A lot of our listeners will know you as well because you do some pretty bang up food content on Instagram. We love that. But what is, your connection with the tortilla thing? Because that gets into, I guess, your particular lens, right?
Dude, it's so weird. I started doing the chip and salsa company just as a thing in college with my friend. We met. His mom is Aunt Nee. She started doing this as a hobby, as a dry mix packet that you mix in with tomatoes to make salsa. And he was like, it's 2008, 2009. His dad lost his job. The recession hit hard. They're like, we are going to maybe lose our house if we don't make something from what we have. And what we have right now is really just this idea that my mom did. So I had just moved back from Las Vegas at the time. I'm Mexican, born in Mexico City. My family on my mom's side is all still there. And I have cooked, growing up cooking with my mom. I've worked in pizza before that. And then my friend was just like, will you help me do this? Let's start a company and try to save my family. And we did.
Wow.
And we ended
That's
up
huge.
doing pretty well for that first year, kept it going and growing, and then kept it moving up to the iteration that it is today with fresh salsa, fresh guacamole, tortilla chips. He and his family has since moved on. And it's just been me since about 2017, I think it is. But doing Aunt Nee's has allowed me to do so much more in the food world, specifically here in the city of Detroit, but also looking now at the ability that I've had to be part of the greater lens of the food environment for the people around me. I started doing pop-ups like you are, chef, you are known for your pop-up, I would say, artistry, the way that you're able to create the environment and build on that and allow people to experience something, step into a world that they didn't necessarily see that they would. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. So us as pop-up chefs, we really have to create and curate an environment and something that is unique to a person when they first walk into the door and experience that. And then they walk out saying, wow, I didn't know that I was going to have that passion today, instilled in me by the very bites that I was given on a plate. And that's something that's kind of lived with me with every single iteration of a different pop-up that I've done, whether it's, doing High Five Taco, our first pop-up back in 2010, 11, to doing, the shrimp ceviche sandwiches that I did over and over and over again different times, starting Kana, which is a Pakistani pop-up with a friend of mine at the time.
You're a Kana too, huh?
You are a Kana, yeah. No, I started that and I stepped away a few years ago.
Okay, yeah.
And I've, been able to focus on so many other things because of that too. Working at Eastern Market and starting there in 2009 has given me the ability to be so much more part of the food culture in Detroit too. So
I was talking to somebody
TV
about
shows.
you. I said, Carlos, I never met him. I think I was talking to Balduff Jordan
at
Side Biscuit. I think they might be swinging by. We hope to see them here. But and I think, Carlos, he said, Carlos, he's into everything. And I said, yeah.
Carlos knows everybody.
Yeah.
No, man.
So that's cool.
Jordan's really good dude. I'm really happy to say that he's now part of the fold of Ann Arbor and the greater metro area because he's one of those types of people that came in, experienced it, lived it, learned, took the breath in, and then was able to then expel his breath for what he believes he could then contribute to this environment. Yeah. Which, the analogy of, Detroit as a blank canvas is long dead, fortunately. And because it's the understanding that Detroit is layers and layers and layers of paint. It's layers of art. And for you to truly be able to add that mark to the city of Detroit or really anywhere that you step into, you have to understand what that art looks like. And that's something that Jordan's done. Obviously, you two have done that and continue to do that as well.
Jordan was one of my first hires.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I did the food cart.
I had no idea. I mean, cool. It's really an honor to sit here with you two. Chef Ji Hye, you're Korean forward, but passion is everything for you. That's the drive for you. And you don't necessarily, like you said, you don't make it part of everybody else's story. You just kind of put that on a plate and allow people to experience it themselves, which is, it's very evident. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Well, the honor too is mine for sure. But let me also say that because we are ostensibly, it's called the Real Wine Show. I want to ask you, what are you folks drinking as we're talking here and getting into things? Somebody want to jump in and say, hey, I've been drinking this. What do you think about it?
Which one did you put in?
Ji Hye and I are drinking the Tre Donna.
The
Method Classico from.
It's Italian. I think it's from Emilia Romagna. So they're down like around Piacenza down there in the Po Valley down that way.
One of the most incredible places
Isn't it beautiful?
I've visited in my life.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah, we spent a few days in Bologna, and a few other towns around there, and that was, life-changing is a way to say it, but also just being able to experience that culture and the way that they live that culture every day. Like I saw some guy older gentleman dressed in like the coolest suit I've ever seen in my life. And he's walking up, perfectly manicured beard and everything, and walks up, and immediately about 15 different Italians from that town go, "Hey, Giancarlo!" And he walks up and everybody's kissing, and they're all walking amongst the tourists like this is their Thursday, you know?
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, you're down in Piacenza too. It was the first place I'd ever seen they had a raw milk like automat, like a dispensing thing. You just walk up and get
raw milk.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It was super cool.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, Italy is an amazing place in that regard. How about you, Carlos? What do you have in the glass?
Oh, I am drinking the Luminara, so it is alcohol removed. Seemingly, for the first 4 months of the year, every year I don't drink.
Okay.
I don't drink
for the first 4 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So January until my birthday every year, which is April 20th. And it's just like a thing that I started doing probably about like 6-7 years ago, just to see if I could, you know. I just kind of kept it going and said, let's see how this works. And I saw a lot of different benefits from it. Physical, emotional, so many different reasons as to why to continue to do this. And it really kind of gives me a break, allows me to step away from alcohol, and then gives me an opportunity to really explore other things that are NA.
Yeah. I can see that. For me, I think that would be a huge benefit, you know, because I do spend an incredible amount of time with wine, right? And if you were to take that off the plate, like imagine all the stuff I could, you know, get savvy about, you know, like I don't even drink beer or spirits at all, you know, because I just so focused on the wine thing. So,
but it's nice to shift your focus every once in a while.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. What do you think about that Luminara? It's called Luminara. Yeah.
I mean, it's nice. You definitely get a little bit of the notes. It's definitely one of those types of wines where it still has a little bit of the body, which is good. That a lot of alcohol-free things, or alcohol removed rather, are missing some of that.
Well, what's interesting, I noticed about that, and I believe I can't see from here, but isn't it say like Chardonnay from Napa Valley?
Yes,
from
it
Napa
does,
Valley,
yeah.
That's kind of crazy. I mean, you've got more experience, so I'll let you speak to that, but it seems unusual to me to find a de-alcoholized wine or an NA wine with so much specificity to say Napa Valley, you know?
Totally.
It is. Okay,
That's them absolutely saying, hey, we're telling everybody because we believe in this, which means a lot.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's, you know, definitely, I would say that there's a lot of de-alcoholized things that I've had that I maybe like a little bit more. So this is, while it's good, it's definitely not a favorite. I mean, that's one one opportunity in doing this is I've had the opportunity to explore so many different NA options. So there's some things that are diehard favorites. I was telling you guys about, you know, unified ferments. They're not even de-alcoholized. They're just, you know, slightly kombucha, and they're from Brooklyn.
I love them, yeah.
And their jasmine green drinks like a wine, feels so good. And it has every different, you know, spark, a little bit of the citrus, a little bit of the full bodiness, everything that you crave from a wine, it gives to you, which is nice.
Well, I have it at the restaurant. I'll give you a taste later.
Oh, cool, yeah.
I recently had this, I think it's Bloom. It's from the Tattinger family.
Oh, yeah.
So it's this pink sparkling.
It's a sparkling one, yeah.
It's fantastic.
You know what's funny about that? That is actually, so it's one of the members like of the Tattinger family of champagne fame, but it's done, one of the minority shareholder is Moet.
Oh.
Yeah, champagne Moet. And so there's some friction in the family over that. Like they're kind of pissed at this guy, you know, like because whoever is the Tattinger guy, I can't remember his name right now, who is the head, you know, of the family right now, who runs the company. You know, he's like, oh, we're never going to do a sparkling non-alcoholic, or we're never doing a sparkling non-alcoholic, you know, we're just not going to do it. And then his grandson or something like that went off and got involved with their rivals, Champagne Moet, you know. Ooh, and so there's some heat.
Wine drama.
It's very good.
Yeah, there's some wine drama there.
It's
good?
very good.
Yeah.
Like you almost can't even tell it's
really
NA.
It's that good. Wow.
It was pretty tasty.
Okay, I haven't seen it out here yet, but
I mean, I literally was at an event and I got a glass of it and I was like, well, this is NA. I was like, oh. I was like, yeah, all right, I'll try it anyway.
All right.
I was looking to get a drink, that's all. And I was like, well, what do they have over there?
Yeah.
NA. I was like, okay, I'll have some of this. I'm like, this isn't NA. I looked at her and I was like, you're crazy. She's like, no, there's really no alcohol. I was like, okay, fine. Can I have another glass then?
There's definitely some good stuff out. I've had some too. Have you run into, Carlos, that I think it's called Wolfer Estate? Is that? Yeah.
No.
They're in New York. I think they're on Long Island. Yeah, but they get Pinot from Germany, and then they de-alcoholize it, and they do a sparkling wine. It's called summer. I don't know if Matthew remembers the name of that Wolfer stuff, the sparkling non-alcoholic. It's like summer in a bottle, something like this. Yeah, quite good.
Summer in a bottle. I'm gonna have to try it out.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth the taste. It's been very good in the past. So.
Well, by the time summer hits, I'm gonna start drinking booze again.
Cool. How about if I hit you folks with one of the show's trademark true-false news stories here? Okay.
Let's hear it.
Because I got to put a little bit of, I got to gamify this a bit.
All right.
We're not going to disrupt the conversation. We're just going to take it another direction here. Okay. So this one is the name of the news piece is called "German Riesling Sparks Controversy at Berlin Music Festival." So chaos erupted at the annual Beats and Bottles Music Festival earlier this month after a prominent DJ declared on stage that, quote, "German Riesling is the ultimate party wine," or "German Riesling is the ultimate party wine." The statement, forgive me, no disrespect to anyone's German heritage there. The statement, intended to hype the crowd, instead sparked a heated debate among the wine enthusiast-heavy festival goers. Fans of red wine were quick to voice their outrage, chanting "Red or dead," igniting Riesling aficionados to chant back, "Crisp and clean, taste the dream." Things escalated when DJ Sputnik jumped on the sound system to drop a remix of Cabernet Queen by the Grapevines. Riesling fans booed loudly and started pelting the stage with bottle corks. Social media quickly caught fire with hashtags like Riesling Riot and hashtag Cabernet Clash trending across the EDM world. Famed German sommelier Gerhard Stuck weighed in, accusing the DJs of oversimplifying the nuanced world of wine. The German Wine Institute released a statement urging unity, suggesting that, quote, "all wines deserve appreciation regardless of genre or grape." Authorities eventually shut down the event, citing intoxicated harmony disturbances and fermented discord. The festival organizers have since promised to include a wine peace panel at next year's event. So my question to you folks is, did this Riesling riot break out at a German EDM festival?
False.
Wow.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just taking a wild guess. There's just way too much rhyming in their chant.
Yeah, red or dead.
Yeah.
There's a lot of detail in that I don't think is possible.
Okay. Well, you sussed me out. I just pulled that one.
Sputnik.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I just pulled it out of my butt.
The reason pelting the DJ with wine corks is what got me.
Yeah.
Really, the declaration that all wines are great from Germans. I didn't think that was really right.
Right, there would be some prejudice.
I feel like that might
there.
happen at a beer festival, though.
Ooh.
More than a wine festival.
Okay, so Christine, you're onto something. So this is what I was thinking about was that level of passion. Like, how cool would it be to have that level of passion, say, for food and wine? It would be fantastic, right? I mean, do people at food festivals erupt in that kind of passion? I mean,
it depends. Is it the
maybe
beginning?
at the after party?
Yeah. Is it the beginning of the day? The middle of the day, or the evening?
Yeah, I mean, some say passion, some say being drunk. It's
correct.
Yeah. So, I just would love that, especially wine. I feel like, especially, we're talking about the NA thing, which of course is a real growing segment, and, the wine industry's talking about, they're feeling a little bit of a pinch, and I think, man, if people were really passionate about it, I thought that would be really cool. So that's where that came from. And it started me thinking about food too. And I think there is a lot of passion for food. You mentioned, Ji Hye, I think, working with the local farmers, right? That is such a powerful, like I say, a passion statement. That is, it really is just going bonkers here, I think, in Michigan. And I wonder, Christine, do you see, New York, of course, is a hotbed for that too, isn't it? For local farming, are people in the city able to go up the Hudson Valley? Yeah.
Actually, it's interesting because I was just talking about this. We don't talk about this a lot, but there's New York City green markets. There's over 100 across the 5 boroughs.
Is it a green market like a farmer's market?
Yes.
Is that what it is? Okay.
So it's called like NYC Green Markets, but basically it is the name for a farmer's market. And there's an organization that runs.
Oh, really? Okay. Cool.
Yeah, because you have to be within 100 miles of, I don't know exactly where they call city center.
Yeah.
What's very cool is that you basically are getting produce from 3 different climates.
Oh, what 3 climates? So what are we talking about here? You're talking about maybe over like on the coast, like
so like southern New Jersey.
Yeah.
Which tends to get warmer and is hotter.
Oh,
and then
okay.
you've got Pennsylvania, and then you get up like north of New York, north of Manhattan, like like it's not really upstate, but upstate New York, and all the way up.
Yeah. So does the New York Green Market Organization, they like facilitate like logistics, like getting all that stuff to the
100%. And like
really?
you have
That's
to have a
super cool.
permit and like how many days and which markets you're at, how many days, what spot you get at the market. There's certain, like Union Square is the largest one, and that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
But even
cool.
there, like what location you're at, and then like during the holidays, they have a holiday market, so you get moved to a different place.
Well, that's a tremendous, that's a real asset for folks in the city, of course, and also for the farmers.
And they take like EBT and SNAP, as long
cool.
as those things still exist in the world. But what's really cool is like you'll start having like really very similar to here. Spring doesn't really start till May. Generally, maybe it's a little bit earlier in New Jersey. So ramps always kick off spring.
Yeah.
Right. But so like
right.
the first thing in New Jersey is less ramps because it's less wet, but you'll get asparagus. Right.
Oh.
Basically, nobody grows asparagus, and it's like New Jersey and Pennsylvania. But what's the coolest part is that you transition from, okay, how long are you going to grow asparagus for? Then what are you moving into, right? Is it a week or 2 weeks? But let's say it's snap peas, okay? So they'll start in New Jersey because it's warmer, and then it'll move to Pennsylvania, and then it'll move to New York. So you might get, instead of 2 weeks, you get 6 weeks of them.
Right.
And then if you want to get real geeky about it, you'll see that they're growing different varietals of the same thing.
Yeah.
And you'll see that also you get to learn that the land tastes different, right?
Yeah, awesome.
Like what kind of dirt are you growing it on? Who's farming it? Who's producing it? What species is it? Right?
Yeah, see, we make a big fuss about that in the wine world, right? Like, grapes are this ultimate vehicle, right, for expressing terroir, right? We call it. You guys use that in the food world too?
Absolutely.
Terroir, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's like, Korea is a small country. I think of like South Korea is the size of Indiana, maybe. So it's like one state. But geography is still varied. So it's like 75% mountainous. It's a peninsula, so it's surrounded in 3 sides in ocean. And like there's one area that's known for its altitude because it's where all the mountains are.
Okay.
And the cabbage from that area is like the D cabbage that everybody wants for their kimchi because of the temperature differentiation between like night and day forces the cabbage to be sweeter.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, so they talk about the cabbage a lot as if it's like a wine, and also like Korea ferments. I mean, everybody ferments a lot, but Korea, we have a lot of different things fermenting. So that conversation also, I think, mirrors wine in some way.
Yeah. Well, our next panel is we have some pretty hardcore wine geeks in here. We'll have to tell them to tone it down. Austin Beeman just walked in.
If you think about it too, in its most simplistic form, like in terms of terroir, the water in New York makes the best pizza. That's an argument that you're going to hear. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily my opinion. It's an argument that you'll hear over and over again.
Yeah.
And that's just because
is it pizza or bagels? Or then one will argue, is it the water in Naples or is it the water in New York, right? So exactly.
Totally.
Yeah.
Or the water in Korea.
The water is important. I learned how to make fermented soy paste, and they packed me like water from that area because they said they had to have the water from that town and salt from that area. So I couldn't just use any regular bottled water.
That's huge.
It was a big part of the
Do we have the opportunity to talk about here, this is for both of you guys, Carlos and Ji Hye, can we talk about a Michigan terroir? Is that something that we can talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
what would be some of the like shorthand kind of hallmark things that maybe are exemplars, right, of something that comes out of Michigan soils, that a food stuff that's got a particular.
I mean, for me, it's the apples. Like I think you think farmers market, you don't necessarily think apples, but there's so many different varietals of apples. The apples that I eat like earlier in the season, and then the apples I eat like now when it's like toward the tail end of the almost like apple storing season is different. Like I really look for the green skinned mutsu apple In the,
Mutsu.
in the like late summer, early spring, it's more tart, crunchy, and then it goes from there. And there's so many different variety of apples. I think there are more variety of apples in Michigan than anywhere else.
I think New York State might try and compete with you on that.
Perhaps. We can duke it out. Yeah.
We do have some really good cider producers. I don't know if you folks have run to like Folklore or we even what's the other one? Tandem is up north, I think too.
And speaking of which, Traverse City Cherries.
Yeah,
another one.
Yes.
There you go.
So obvious.
Yeah.
Or the dust in the roads in Dearborn, they say. That's another one.
There's some. One of my favorites is the Kibinaya.
Kibinaya, yeah. I love
over like Cedar
so
Land
much
or something.
Raw meat, it's a problem.
Yeah. What's the green the farmers market like scene like down in at Eastern Market? That was really one of the. That's kind of like ground. I mean, that's like kind of ground zero for like regeneration. I would say maybe urban regeneration in Detroit. Is that something fair to say?
The fact that I've been able to definitely watch a change, an increase in the population and tourism because of Eastern Market, and be able to see that using that lens, and then watch it then grow from the outside, or from the inside out rather, from Eastern Market to the rest of the city has just been so unique and really fulfilling to be a part of too. So yeah, absolutely. We are one of the most important farm markets in the United States now.
Wow.
Because we're one of the largest and oldest, first and foremost, but we're also one of the ones that kept doing what we've been doing for so long. You look at Chicago's market or so many other major markets across the United States, and they've turned either into business areas, a place where there's a lot more like nice restaurants, or it's just become more of a maker's market of T-shirts and beaded bracelets and stuff, which is cool because we have that too at Eastern Market. But the fact of just having a real farmer's market in such a large footprint of the city is you don't see it too often anymore.
Yeah, I think also the farmers markets in Michigan, like Detroit and Ann Arbor, which is also another 100-year-old restaurant, 100-year-old farmers market, is that there are families who come who's been continuously farming for the past century. That generations.
Farms,
and you can connect with them in on really personal levels. I think that's really awesome.
So is it fair to say then that this is would you folks say that farming is healthy? Is there like a solid foundation for farming in this country, or at least maybe just from what you know, Christine, for example, and.
Well, that's so controversial. We're tapping into the world of politics there a little bit. Yeah. But
speak honestly, that's all we're talking about.
I mean, farming is the backbone of everything that we
human
need.
Society.
Well, we need food, right? We need. That's the thing, right? We need food to stay alive, right? But it is probably the most. How do you say? It's like an industry that's the most taken advantage of. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like. I'm not going to try and get super into it, but, in the sense of like, how do we get from all this mass produced, like, unflavorful food or products, right? Then that we're going the gamut from vegetables to protein, right? So
just the industrial grade stuff.
Correct. And you talk about, look, we're sitting here as chefs, small business owners, restaurateurs, whatever you want to call it. And the money is not like,
it's not flowing.
It's not flowing. And I'm not saying that to complain about it, like
there are no helicopters outside.
It is also very fulfilling in its own way, which is I think the only reason why we stay in it. Like for some weird space, it is fulfilling, and the rest of it is not.
Do you feel morally obligated or an ethical component to it too?
I do. I think so. I was really right. I think I'm really lucky to have learned how to shop at the farmers market at a young age, early on. And I feel I have cooks that will work with me, and they know nothing about seasonality, and it just breaks my heart. And then I'm like, but you need to learn this. And they and so sure, we cook seasonally. I'm like, I'm going to the farmers market twice a week. You want to come? Like, no. I'm like, all right, well, you don't want to get up early. That's on them. But I'm like, you don't understand where your food is coming from. So I think there is a moral obligation. I think it's very challenging in the finances the business aspect of businesses to say it gets really complicated, right? Do I want to buy everything local? Yes, but guess what? There is a certain point in almost, especially from like, let's say we're here in New York, there's no more food to buy at the farmer's market. There's apples, but you can't even get a potato at a certain point. You know, like the sellers are empty. You know, there's a hydroponic tomato lady that just is there in the winter. So you're like, you can get an apple and you can get a tomato and a bunch of basil, but you can't get a potato. It's weird, but it's real.
Yeah, is that because like potato farming has just become so industrial, or is it because like you said, are stocks that just sell down because the demand is high?
Stock sells down, or like they sold it. Like a farmer's not gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna hold on to this so I can get to February. I'm gonna sell as fast as I can, and maybe I can sleep for like a week.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Or maybe I can actually focus on what my seed planting is, and I want to focus on that. You know, or the harvest like ran short because they had like a bacteria or something like that. You know, but so I was like really lucky to do that, and then just by chance, my best friend from high school, she became a farmer. She's an organic farmer at the base of Mount Hood in Oregon. It's just her and her husband. They have 3 kids, and I try and go at least once a year into work on the farm. They don't even really let me work on the farm like fully, and I'm like,
don't mess anything up, Christine.
No, it's more like I get the glam. Like this past year, I really hung out with her and spent time just cooking like meals for the people it's her family, and they have like some interns. So that's what we focus on. I just helped her cook. But I'm like, the year before, I'm cleaning onions. Like a 25-pound bag of onions is less than 50 cents a pound. But if you think about
the amount of work that goes in,
how much work it takes, you have to plant the seed, you have to you have to turn the soil, water the onion. And then when you pull the onion, not only do you have to pull it, then you have to cure it. Then you have to clean it up and make it look pretty to put on a shelf. Whether it's like at a table at a market or into a truck and it goes somewhere else. But it costs like a quarter, maybe. So then if you go to their market and it's one beautiful onion is $1, people are like, that's too expensive. Right? I mean, you're getting me on a tangent. Like really the truth of like how much food costs in this country, or let alone in the world, is completely skewed. And it's I don't even know how to make it change, because you're talking about deprogramming the way that we look at it for however many years you've been around and generations through.
And all the habits we have when shopping and eating.
I mean, think about it too. So, for example, eggs, right? Eggs right now are astronomical. But you can still get them at the farmer's market. And they're still going to be priced a little high, but believe it or not, the price and quality that you're going to get price-wise at the grocery store right now, it's about the same quality-wise.
Much higher.
Insanely better.
Correct.
We usually get from the same farmer every year, J&M Pork. I get my meat from them and I get my eggs from them. And they're an incredible family from a small town in Michigan. And their eggs are just so custardy. And I made the mistake last week of not getting eggs at the Eastern Market. That was my fault. I should have done it, and I absolutely messed up, and I was told that I messed up. And I showed up at home.
You're learning from your mistakes.
Without getting eggs, and it was a big oopsie. Yeah. So I had to go get eggs, and I went to Costco, and I bought, their flat of organic eggs, and here I am thinking to myself, cool, this is still free range. It still says organic. I'm hoping these are still going to be good. And the taste difference between the 2 eggs,
right?
Getting something that's done with care, with compassion, with a family that focuses on doing things the right way and not producing anything in
good
mass,
quality feed, right?
Versus something that's, even if it is free range and organic, still not done with the same type of quality. You taste such a difference.
Yeah, and I also want to say, people talk about how much more expensive it is to buy from farmers market. But besides the flavor as a restaurateur, when we were coming out of the pandemic and there were a whole bunch of talks about supply chain issues and food costs going up and everything's more expensive. We dealt with that at my restaurant, but we dealt with it a little less because we were getting vegetables more
Locally,
from the farmers market, and their
sourced.
prices didn't fluctuate as much as a commercial. I mean, we do have we try to find a good balance of like what vegetables we buy from farmers market and what vegetables we just order that gets delivered. But I think you can calibrate your business so that actually buying from local farmers is beneficial for the bottom
and
line.
viable. Yeah, and viable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because in part, I mean, I think when you're dealing with people who are selling in the same local to where they're growing, of course, you don't have those extended supply chain things where a fluctuation, the diesel price or shipping is gonna cause, and you're not dealing in the volumes where it gets multiplied, and you get these huge line item variances that cause freakouts. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But it's like about relationships, right? Like you learn your farmers, you meet them, they understand, let's say, the volume, right? So like if you keep buying from them, then they'll plant differently because they'll know you'll buy it, right? It's a business for them too, right?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So there's something that's really cool about that. Or then it's like, hey, you try something new. Hey, I want to buy this because I'd rather you grow it.
Yeah.
And then they have their, some things work out and some things don't. And so, I mean, but the scalability of it is probably the most challenging part, right?
And it's something that's almost like you were saying before. It's something that's almost impossible. You can't do it, like at the individual restaurant level. I mean, it's just the scope of change that it would take to elevate, farming and food production to its kind of more rightful or.
But maybe with enough education and the consumers changing their minds to make better choices, like every one of us can make a little difference. Yeah.
And that's the kind of the closing thing I'd wanted to ask you folks about, and especially for you, Carlos, too, because again,
closing, you're kicking us out.
No, not yet. But especially with your relationship, and maybe I'm exaggerating this, but I just love what you do on social media. I think that you're getting a lot of attention over there. But
you're gonna get a new follower in like a couple minutes, just so you know.
Literally, you're gonna follow me and you'll be like, "This is what he was talking about."
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Carlos's feed is really fun.
Yeah, he put truffles on coney dogs. What?
I would crush that right now.
It makes
Oh my
sense.
God, it's
so good.
Yeah, it makes
Listen, I've been
sense.
eating conies my entire life, and to redesign something that I find so comforting and to have a new way of wanting to eat that is insane to think about.
All right.
To go to the same place that I've been going to since I was a child, since before I can have real memories.
Right on.
And then have that one dish be so redefined, which I think, so this goes back to something that I actually wrote it down because it's something that you made me think about during your introduction, Christine. You said something along the lines of how you've been able to kind of rethink your recipes, which is something that really hit me so hard in my last pop-up. I did a really nice tasting menu for Valentine's Day with Chef Brendan over at Batch. And we did a few different things, one of which being a wild white mushroom consomme fideo soup. Because for me growing up, sopa de fideo is everything. And him and I sat down. We were over at Supino's. Big shout, Supino.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, so, if you wanted to do a menu, like what are the kind of things that we did? And I, said that I wanted to focus on things that, my partner, my fiance loves, one of which is her sopa de fideo. He goes, great. Now rethink that recipe. Let's just say, what if you did mushrooms instead of tomato? And that blew my mind because it's something that I just didn't necessarily think about right away. It's like, okay, cool. Removing something that is so integral to the recipe and then bringing in something else. How would we go about doing that the right way? And it turned out to be one of the best items on the menu by far.
Makes sense. It's a umami and umami.
Right.
Different kind.
And then having, the toasted fideo and then having that add a different realm of taste to it. So when you say what you do and then the world of fusion, what it is today, we are truly rethinking our own recipes in the way that we are today to kind of harp on that idea of what is third culture, right? Like I am Mexican, but I'm also Sicilian and Lebanese. But first and foremost, before any of that, because of the place that I've been accepted by and the place that I feel truly home, I'm a Detroiter. What does that mean to me? What does that mean to the recipes that I put on a plate? And what does that mean to the people around me when they're then eating those recipes that I felt the passion of?
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I also want to add, that recipe probably worked because you truly understood the story of fideo before you started making changes to it. You knew the essence of the dish, and then you knew to right way to add your take And I don't think anybody can actually jump in the middle without having that understanding or have studied for it and then just like throw in ingredients willy-nilly.
Yeah, just throwing some American cheese in there probably wouldn't have worked. Right. Some Kraft Americans.
Hey, man, don't knock American cheese. It's somehow
it has
delicious.
Its place.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I think that's the kind of tacky like meaning of fusion. Do you know what I mean? Or how I see it is that you're just throwing different things from different places or together, and it's fusion. But that's like why it's kind of insulting if like someone calls my food fusion, because it's not about that. I may offend somebody every now and again. Do you know what I mean? I try not to, but it's like you are trying to, you don't become a historian, you know, or then even using that word authentic is confusing, like overnight. But what I am trying to figure out is where the bread, like where does the bread come from? Why are we eating that? Like, do you know what I mean? For instance, tomorrow we're doing a fragrant eggplant dip, right? So it's like fragrant eggplant's a dish. Then we're doing, right, like a kind of like a baba ganoush or an eggplant, roasted eggplant dip. So we're going to Yasmin Bakery instead of making a bread.
Yeah.
And we're doing a sesame.
Tell me what time.
I think it's manish is what it's called.
Yeah, manish, habibi, sure.
Right. And so, but it's Ramadan. So like, well, it makes the most sense. Like, well, we could do za'atar, love za'atar, but it will kind of overpower the flavors of the eggplant. Stuff. And it's Ramadan. They make a sesame manish at this time of year. And so it's absolutely perfect. Like we did pick the date for the pop-up, but I didn't look on the calendar and be like, is it during Ramadan so I can get this really sesame flatbread?
Do yourself the favor as well, because I'm a huge fan of New Yasmin Bakery. I think they've done a great job. And in terms of the world of just their prepped food counter, they've got a lot of different things that are very home style things that you wouldn't find on a menu. For example, one of the things is kibbeh Lebanese. That's something that my grandmother would make, my aunt, and it's fried kibbeh balls, but it's done in a Lebanese soup. And that, if you can get that in a couple of scoops of that, you're gonna fall in love. They also have a really good tomato kibbeh, which is tomato based instead of meat. It's raw kibbeh, but it's tomato. Try that while you're there. But then if you can,
Carlos, that's the cheese, like
it's a yogurt.
Balls.
And then when you can, go to Golden Bakery. So it's just like less than a half a mile down the same road on Warren Avenue. Golden Bakery, in my opinion, has the best baked minutia that you're going to find.
Are we meeting you there?
Yeah, that's why I asked what time.
Wednesday.
Excellent. I'll see you there. And then we're gonna have to get you the it's called lakhme majruhe mashru. It is a long meat and cheese bread that they bake the long boy in that oven, pull it out with the scrape, and then it flips over, and then they cut it into these little squares. So you're getting these massive cheese pulls with this really good
This is the Instagram. This is social media here, right? We're talking here.
Exactly.
It's a thin bread too, and then the meat in it too is that same like meat that you would find on a meat pie. So all of that together for this one just insanely juicy, melty, meaty, buttery flavor.
Getting hungry.
Are we talking? Yeah, is this Wednesday you're talking about?
So,
Wednesday.
So when we go, I'll definitely get you guys a couple of those pies, because that's another world.
That's fantastic.
But do you know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's natural. Like these.
Ingredients bringing them together.
Together.
So I don't even. I guess in some ways, I'm not creating it. To me, like, I'm not creating anything new. It's like I'm a curator of this. You know what I mean?
Totally.
But I'm trying to like learn about it before I put it on a menu. Yeah. And so, right there.
Well, when you said that too, you made me think right away. Ji Hye, is it the bude chige, where they'll often put like a little piece of American cheese?
Oh yeah. You know? The army stew bude chige. Yeah.
Because that was something, as I understand the story, and you can clarify it for me. I don't know, but it was it's something that came from the post-war period where they were using what was
it was like the government cheese.
Yeah.
That was
the 5-pound blocks.
Bude chige is basically like a take on sort of like a spicy stew that already existed in Korea. And then after Korean War, and there's like an occupation of U.S. Army in Korea, and then they have this like a government commissary that you can get stuff from. So you're adding stuff from there. So there's spam, there's American cheese, baked beans, hot dogs. It all like sort of goes in there. Yeah. And then it somehow makes sense.
Yeah. It's fusion, but it's like you're saying, it is great for drinking
well as hangovers. It works for both.
I still have never had it.
Yeah.
I'll make you some.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good.
It's kind of like taco rice in Okinawa, right?
Yep.
Like
Yes.
the reason why is because of the Americans that were there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But I love that. Like some people may say, like, okay, when I say some people, I mean my mother. Like my mother would like frown upon it, call it like delinquent food or like trashy food.
Yeah.
Totally.
But I love that like people have this resilience to pull from what's available to them and then make something more beautiful than its individual pieces, like separately.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Very well said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. What are you doing with an empty glass? Come on, it's a
Yeah,
wine
when
show.
you're slacking.
We've barely talked about wine. It's a wine show.
That's all right. It's been a great conversation about food, and I think most wine people are really deep into the food thing. So, you just like you're saying, it's about flavors, it's about things that go together naturally. So that works.
I mean, if you think about it, we wouldn't have tacos the way they are today without the Middle Eastern population that came
That's
into
right.
Mexico.
For real?
Yeah.
What's that story? Do we have a minute? Let's give us a minute.
Late 1800s, early 1900s.
I don't know it at all.
A lot of Lebanese, Syrian, Middle Eastern people came from the Middle East to Mexico because they were escaping religious persecution. And they decided to go there, and they took the idea of making shawarma with them, and they showed the Mexicans how to put everything on a spit. And then from that point, they were like, well, we could do this with pork. and we did it, and we made tacos al pastor, tacos al bistec, any kind of big trompo that you'll see on the streets today in Mexico would not be a possibility without the Middle Eastern population. So that's very much true fusion. It's something that is so Mexican, and people would never know.
No, thanks for the education, man. That's a great. I did not know about that, but
Yeah, and if you
makes
get
sense.
like a taco from those tromperos with a flour tortilla, then they'll call it tacos
Tacos
árabes.
árabes.
Yes.
Arabic tacos.
Yes.
A real taco árabe. So I did a pop-up with Omar from Saffron de Trois last year for 3
He's helping us.
Oh, sick.
get the
Yeah.
flatbreads,
This is going to be
yeah.
awesome. So last year we did tacos árabes, which is essentially like a Syrian bread. And then do that with, we did a garlic and chipotle toum. And then we did like a nice little, kind of like a green, different type of salsa as well. And then we did like shawarma meat, essentially, with cilantro and onion. And that is a taco árabe. That's an Arabic taco. And you can get
Killer.
those all throughout Mexico, but you cannot find them here. Good luck trying to find them here. So when you tell, a Middle Eastern person about these tacos, they're just like, yeah, that's just like what a taco would be if I were to make it. It makes a lot of
Amazing.
sense.
Wow. Well, that's great. That's just fascinating. But there's a problem. You have gotten me all agitated and appetized. So I'm going to pull the plug on the show because we got to eat. And they had this mouth-watering, this lalela, that South African scent.
Very
So
good.
did you feel that acidity in that thing? It's just like mouth-watering and all juicy.
Oh, yeah, ship me a little bit of
So, yeah, let's pour another glass. And then I want to say thank you to the three of you for coming out. It was great to meet you. I mean, I know you, Ji Hye, but to you, Christine, and Carlos, I'm so glad to have met both of you. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow night dinner. So cheers. And then
Cheers.
I might
Thank
come
you
out.
for
I
having
might
us.
show up in Dearborn on Wednesday. So keep an eye out.
That sounds great. And then,
Great.
Carlos, when are we cooking together?
Dude, you tell me. I'm so down. I'll do something out there. We'll do something here. We can go to a new place together and figure it out.
You'll have to come out again, and we'll make it like a week and a half thing.
Okay, because we came up with another dinner for just last night, just hanging out.
Yeah.
But we have to cook together.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm
Great.
honored that you asked. Thank you.
Let's do it.
Always. I love it.
Great. Well, thanks again, folks. It was
Thank
a great
you.
pleasure.